million people. That means they're spending probably well under $1,000 per referral. Now, I consider that to be about the average client is probably I get paid maybe 1/5 of what I would get paid as a private lawyer.
Now, the Legal Services Society says that these particular cuts are the result of a downturn in the economy, something that people are facing everywhere, that millions of dollars have been lost because the private funding it relies on has been getting low interest. What do you make of that argument? They just don't have the money.
Good argument. Well, the screwy thing is that the private clients pay the provincial services taxes, which collects most of the money which is collected by the province, and that's the biggest part of the budget. The second crazy thing is that they rely on the Notary Foundation, the Law Foundation, and a number of others to give the interest off their bank accounts to the Legal Services Society. But the interest rates have dropped, not just subprime mortgages, they've dropped off the thing. So the revenues are down by sometimes as much as 70 or 80%. That money that should be going to legal services is no longer going, because the interest rate on those accounts is dropped to off the map.
What do you think the message is that this sends to the people, first of all, who use the services?
They're going to get less and less. The poor are going to get what they always get, kicked in the rear end. There's nothing new about that. But this even doesn't work well for the bureaucracy. We now have a badly flawed legal system, and I guess everybody who's middle class knows that. Most middle class people can't afford lawyers, let alone. So it's either it's for the very wealthy and now for the most desperately poor. But those people that are not criminals, that are not in danger of going to jail, but have serious legal problems, are going to go without. And it's going to mean a lot of hardship and a lot of heartache, because there'll be lots of screw-ups. There already are.
Do you see this as a way to get more guilty pleas out of people?
Well, in the end, it ultimately works out. People who go to court who don't have any legal representation tend to plead guilty because they don't know what else to do. They don't feel up to doing a trial. You have to remember the trials that do go ahead, the acquittal rate in British Columbia is about 50%. So all the trials that actually go ahead to trials end at about a 50% acquittal rate. That doesn't mean that that's because a large amount of them are dealt with by guilty pleas, the vast majority, in fact. But if 50% of people are being acquitted, and some of those 50% no longer have lawyers, then people that should be acquitted because the evidence is not there are going to be convicted. Now, it may not be for murder, so you may not be going to jail for 25 years and find out what a fiasco it is. But what if you lose your job because it's an internal theft, and you have a conviction for a theft that you didn't commit, or a stolen property you didn't do, or a drug conviction or a grow-up, or something that you're not really responsible for? That stuff is going to hound you for life. I don't want to hire people in my office that have criminal records, and I don't think anybody else wants to. And I think that it has a huge fallout. And then there's, of course, the whole poverty law is gone. I mean, I see people come to my office, tenants being thrown out, their landlords taking their stuff, UIC and workers' compensation, and endless amounts of foreclosures and poverty law. And all that stuff has been gone for years now, because the province in 2002 decided legal aid shouldn't be dealing with those kinds of things, and so they got rid of it. And the province doesn't really pay for it. It's coming out of paying clients, our clients. So that's another irksome thing. And of course, the federal government basically says it's a provincial government responsibility, and we're not going to put any money into it. But they control immigration, 100% federal program, and they don't put money into the legal services those people require. So it's a failure by the federal government to equalize. So we have basically 10 systems in Canada. Some of them are even worse than ours, and some are better than ours, because the federal government should have a one unified system, at least for criminal legal aid. And the provincial government should take it more seriously and realize that these are services that people need, much like they need Medicare services.
Phil Rankin, thanks so much. Good to talk to you this afternoon.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Phil Rankin, a defense and immigration lawyer here in Vancouver. What do you think about the cuts and about access to justice in Vancouver? 604-662-6979. That's our talkback number. 13 minutes before 6 o'clock.